had someone ask us if we could do a video about if Mitchell Trubisky can revive his NFL career. I was a little hesitant because I feel like on this show we've made it pretty clear our feelings on Mitch Trubisky. Tristan has said time and time again he doesn't think he can throw to his right, or I think it's his left. Doesn't matter. As a Vikings fan and watching him in the division for the last couple seasons, well, he's got a really good record against the Vikings. I can say that right now. Been to the playoffs a couple times, and off the top of my head, more times than Kirk Cousins has. So that says something. But can he revive his NFL career? I don't know. I think it's a valuable question. We're going to get into it. But before we do, we're going to make sure we ask you guys that watch us on YouTube to make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. Helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support. On the way to 100 prescriptions. We're almost there. We are almost there. Subscriptions, excuse me. Sitting at 96 right now. Help us get over the hump to 100 subscriptions. So, history on Mitch Trubisky, Mitchell Trubisky, however you will like it. Former 4-star recruit at a Mentor High School, formerly of Mentor, Ohio. Played 3 years, committed to the University of North Carolina. No, they're not just a basketball school. They also have a football team. But played 3 years at the University of North Carolina. Freshman year, came out, played 9 games, threw 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Completed about 54% of his passes for 459 yards. Came back his sophomore year and was admirable. Once again, played 9 games. Completed just over 85% of his passes. Threw 6 touchdowns, no picks. His first full year as a starter. Now, this was probably the part where a lot of Bears fans and a lot of NFL fans were questionable as to why he got drafted so high. Those are a little of a backstory. The Bears traded up from the 3rd overall pick to the 2nd round pick to get Trubisky, and ended up mainly because he really showed out in his junior year, and he did. Let's be real. We showed out through 30 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions, over 3,700 yards, completed 68% of his passes. Lost in the Sun Bowl to Stanford, but it is what it is. In the end, is he an NFL quarterback that can revive his NFL career? I am a diehard Vikings fan, for those of you that were wondering. And I had to deal with watching a guy by the name of Christian Ponder for a while. Now, Christian Ponder here's the thing about Christian Ponder. He didn't have a great arm. I think he had a good enough arm in the NFL, but he actually had great underrated athleticism. And I see a lot of Christian Ponder and Mitch Trubisky the other way around there, Colton. Because Mitch Trubisky, in my opinion, has a very, very, very underrated athleticism in terms of running the football. And I think it's unfortunate that the Bears don't run as much play action as I wish they would have, or do it with and establish their offensive identity as a play action team. I think they could definitely do some damage and be really fun to watch and really make a lot of teams nervous with the athleticism of Mitch Trubisky. Now, once again, he is a great athlete, but that's where the arm question comes into. Now, for me, it's the accuracy that throws me off about Mitch Trubisky. I feel like his accuracy has been lacking since he came into the NFL. I think we kind of knew that. It's something that's really hard to develop when you're in the NFL. There are some players that are just really special with it. I mean, guys, you talk about Aaron Rodgers, you talk about Deshaun Watson, you talk about Patrick Mahomes, he's in an area all by himself. But at the end of the day, if you don't have that accuracy coming into the NFL, it's extremely hard for NFL quarterbacks to succeed. And it's just something I think he struggled with throughout the years. And coming into this season, I think even the Bears has said multiple times, they were going to find their offensive identity. They were still going into the season. They were going to find their offensive identity. And by the way, they started out 5-0, and I'll continue to say this until I go into my grave. If you would have told me that the Bears would start off 5-0 this year in 2020, I would have said you were crazy. But they did. They started off 5-0, and some of it was due to Nick Foles, some of it was due to Mitch Trubisky. But at the end of the day, the reason the Bears made the playoffs is because the Vikings blew it. Let's call a spade a spade. But I'm sorry to get sidetracked, but back to the main question here. Can he revive his NFL career? I don't think so, not with the Bears. However, I think if he were to go to a team that had a good running game. Now, don't get me wrong. I felt the Bears definitely took a step forward in this year in terms of their run game with David Montgomery. but I don't think that the Bears will commit enough to him to warrant the NFL team's respect, defense's respect, to stop the run first and then stop the pass. Because of his ability as an athlete, more specifically on a play action, I feel like an NFL team that really goes towards and really identifies more as a play action team should definitely take a shot on Mitch Trubisky, because I think he does in his athleticism. I've said it time and time again. He's a very underrated athlete. He really is, and I think I think it's something that needs to be kind of unleashed in him. I was hesitant to say this, but I'm going to say it. If Michael Vick had been used on more of a play action, as more of a play action player, can you imagine? I mean, if he had don't get me wrong, he had some respectable running backs, but I'm just saying, I mean, if he had and this is hypothetical, of course, but I mean, let's say he did running back like Adrian Peterson, and you have him. I mean, the things you could have done with that offense, incredible. But, and again, I know it's a hypothetical, but here's the point. If you get him a respectable running back that NFL defenses have to game plan for, and again, really liked what I saw from Montgomery, but they don't give him the ball enough to be able to warrant that kind of respect. If the Bears continually gave him the respect and gave him the football, I think you can see defenses start to hone in on stopping Montgomery and being less worried about Mitch Trubisky, which I think would be a mistake, because Mitch Trubisky identifies more as a play action team. A very very underrated athlete. And I'll say it again until the top of the moon. But point is, I don't think he can do it with the Bears, because I think Matt Nagy will hold him back. But if the Bears do, in fact, go in another route with an NFL coach, because it's going to be hard to get rid of a guy like Trubisky. I mean, like I said, they spent the second overall pick on him. It's going to be hard just to let him go. So I think for the Bears, it's in their best interest to see if they can make it work, maybe bring in another coach that can help him develop that accuracy, because that's really the only thing I see out of Mr. Trubisky that he's truly missing. If he can develop some of that accuracy and find a way to get the job done and be in an offense that truly complements his strengths, and they have an offensive identity, I think he could be a franchise quarterback, and I think he could be a very respectable player. So as far as if can he revive his NFL career with the Bears, I'm not with Matt Nagy. That's just my take on it. But let me know what you guys think down below. Leave a comment. Do you think Mr. Trubisky can revive his NFL career? Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. Helps people find the show. Have a great night. Have a great weekend.